Okay, this is a quick video on the sprinkler system. As I mentioned in the seller disclosure, some of the sprinkler heads need maintenance, but the electronics, all the control valves, the computer, the controller, everything is in perfect condition, everything works. I never use the sprinkler in a automated mode. I like to have manual control over which zones are spraying water. If you put it on automatic, it'll be pouring rain out one day and the sprinkler will just be wasting water. If I see an area of the lawn that needs attention, I'll focus on that zone and I'll water that zone. But to me, I do things manually. That's just me. Okay, so this is your controller unit. So there are various zones, and when we get outside, a zone is a certain sector of heads. Okay, like the back area by the pool, I don't know off the top of my head what sector that is. It might be 5. But you can see here it says off. This thing requires AC power. You can see it's plugged in down there. So if I were to set it to zone 5, let's assume 5 is the area around the pool perimeter. I would simply, it says system off, I would just go to manual. By the way, I do have the actual factory manual for this thing that I'm going to leave on the kitchen counter. And you can read through that. It's quite simple. I just use manual. I go to manual mode. And this here is the zone, or they call them stations. Let's say I wanted to select station 5. I would increment that. 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? That means it's going to start watering zone 5. And I say, well, let me water for 30 minutes out there, and I'll increment the timer here. And I'll go up to 15 minutes, let's say. Suzanne, if you could, it's actually up to 20 minutes. So it's zone 5 for 20 minutes. And if I wanted to activate the sprinkler, I simply turn it to run. 3 clicks to the right, and it'll start running. Now the valve is not on, so it's not operating, but I'm going to turn this off. That's your controller. Perfect condition. Let's go over to the valve itself. Okay, so you have 2 water meters in this house. One water meter measures all water flow coming in from the city. Now, I have a secondary meter here. It's called a memo meter. And this is good because it allows you to route outside water through a separate meter so that on the sewer side you're not charged. In other words, when water comes into the house, if you wash your hands at the sink, it goes down the drain into the city drain system. The city charges you for that. But in this case, you're watering a lawn or you're turning on the outside faucets to water your garden or whatever. That's not going into the city system.
The pool?
That's not going into the city system. So therefore you should not be charged for that on the sewer side of your water sewer bill. So this is a good thing. There's a little note here. What does it say? All water passing through this meter does not enter the city sewer system. This feed flows to all 3 outdoor faucets, 1 in the front, 2 in the back, and the entire lawn irrigation system. This is also good if you're adding water to the pool. Now you're not going to drain this pool all the way down. That water that's been in that pool has been in there for 15 years. I do draw it down in the wintertime a little bit just to blow the lines out, but you're not going to fill your pool up every spring. You're going to add a little bit of water because you're going to lose some through evaporation and so on, but I did record it as of April 11th. So this is your memo meter. But in order for just let's follow the flow here. So it's coming in from the street, this valve is open, comes here, comes through the meter. Notice it's shut off here. This goes to the sprinkler system outside, and I'll show you that in a minute. This goes to all the outlets. The front faucet, the two back faucets. If I were to open that valve, I would then charge this line with water, and then you could operate the sprinkler system. So let's go outside. Okay, so back here, there are a total of 9 sprinkler heads. I flagged them all. You can see where they are. You can just do a little pan, Suzanne, around this way. Some in the corner by the shed. Okay, now let's come around. So this is one zone. All these sprinklers, you didn't stop it.
No.
All these sprinklers are on one zone. So this is what's on the other side. This is what's on the other side of that valve I showed you by the memo meter. This is nothing more than a flow valve. This is perpendicular to the line, so it means it's cut off. If this were open and energized in order for water to flow, I'd have to move that to the down position. You can also hook up a hose here if you want. Okay, so this obviously has to be operational. Let's take a look at, if you could just go that way, Suzanne. Okay, so various zones. So let me show you what's on another zone. Don't know the number off the top of my head, but you can zoom on that one. That is part of it. On this zone, this is the second one. And that's a third one down there. So we talked about the zone by the pool. This is a separate zone. Let's talk about another zone. This zone encompasses that head there. It encompasses that head down there by the sidewalk. It encompasses that head on the corner. And it encompasses one more zone. I mean, one more head over here. Right there. This head is damaged. I accidentally hit it with the lawnmower. Set a little bit too low. It skimmed the top. You're gonna have to dig that out, and for 12, 13 bucks, you got a new head. So that's a zone. And finally, in the front, there's a separate zone, and I did something a little different here. There used to be 8 or 9 heads all on one zone. And what I found was that because so many heads were drawing water, the pressure was quite weak and it wasn't giving me good throw distance on the heads. So I decided to cut it at that point and just tap into it manually. So if you can see, there's 3 heads over here and the sprinklers are going. There's one on the corner by the car, one down by the mailbox, and then one over on the sidewalk there. They all need to be fine-tuned. But my point is everything works. But you could call up like Summer Rain. They'll come out here and tune everything up for 200 bucks. So if you do want to use those 3 sprinkler heads on this sector of the front lawn, and it's totally independent from the controller or the valve that I showed you by the fireplace. This is just a regular garden hose. You just screw it into there and just turn the water on. And it'll flow until I turn the faucet off on the side of the house. And the final zone I want to talk about is on the left side of the the other side of the driveway. And this has, on the corner, it's got one there. It's got one up by the house. It's got another one on the top of the hill. It's got one in the corner, in the back. And it's got two over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All 6 of these will activate at once. And that's all that I use. Now, whoever designed this system put in many more zones, like for watering these shrubs here, but these shrubs do not require water. If these were flower gardens or something that required water on a regular basis, these are not. These are very robust plants. They don't require watering. That's all I use basically. I use maybe 4 zones. That's it. So just activate a zone and see which heads pop up. You'll quickly know what zone is tied to what sector. That's pretty much it.